Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. I'm, of course, the Battle Room, and today I'm joined by Raghav. How you doing, buddy?
Colin, I'm doing fantastic. It is good to be back, and especially for such a huge video because everything's bigger in Texas. We've got the Houston Regional Finals here for you, and it's a banger. We got Carson Confer versus Dylan Matthews. Colin, let's break down their runs.
Yeah, so first off, we got Carson, who played against Lucy Fleming and her, hyper offense Primarina team, which I thought was actually pretty sick. I feel like Primarina, unironically, is like a pretty cool Pokemon in this format. It's beaten me tons of times. Very good into Ursaluna stuff. And then Carson played up against Sohybe, who just got back from a little break. So obviously, two really good players facing off. Carson is able to win 2-1 against both of his top cut matches, and then now he's chilling in finals. And obviously, Carson is a previous world champion as well, and an incredibly established player here trying to win another regional.
Yeah, Dylan may be a player who's a little bit more unfamiliar to you guys, but Colin and I checked his accomplishments, and we can get more into it when we see team preview, but this guy is absolutely cracked. He has been crushing it in Scarlet and Violet, and especially this season in specific. So, in his run, he plays the reigning world champion in top 8, and Giovanni's been using a pretty standard team that he's been really getting a lot of reps in with. I feel like every tournament he's brought it to this stint and the previous stint, he's been using this. It's kind of his thing, and Dylan's able to take it to 2-1. Then he plays our boy, Justin Burns, in top 4. Granted, this is Justin's first tournament back in a while, but he's made it all the way to top 4, and he's playing a really scary, more hyper-offensive team that Emilio had just used to get top 4 at the previous regional. Dylan, again, takes control 2-1, and is now facing Carson in the finals.
Yeah, so let's check out their teams and look at this matchup a little bit more in depth. All right, so we've got Carson's team right here, which is honestly a pretty crazy team in this format. Regular Ninetales, well, we'll get to Ninetales. We got Fergraph, Fluttermane, Ninetales, Ogerpon, Cornerstone, Tornadus, and Urshifu Dark, which I think all of these together kind of makes a pretty incredible meta call. I think that Urshifu Dark is an incredible in an incredible spot right now. Obviously very, very good into size spam. You still get that normal Urshifu BS with Unseen Fist. And I feel like he just is so good against a lot of the teams that are good, right? He's good into Porygon Ursaluna stuff. He's good into the Cresselia Ursaluna stuff. This guy is a demon, and if played well, he can just tear up a team. And then we obviously have the Ninetales as well, which is a pretty crazy pick. Not one that you would even think to use in this format, but Drought is Drought, and Ninetales does fit this hyper-offensive team a little bit better. You actually played against Ninetales in the Seattle Regionals. How do you feel about this Pokemon?
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, I actually didn't even get to see it do anything, but I have been smacked by this, team idea. I believe Carson was inspired by Zach Knight's team that she ran at Seattle Regionals, and I don't know if they ran this together, but he ran against something very similar at Houston. But yeah, I played this Torn Urshifu Ninetales Fluttermane core, and it was so annoying to deal with. I was running something really standard, and I feel like that's exactly what it was attacking. I felt like an idiot losing. And granted, Zach played great, but Carson taking it to this heights makes me feel a little bit better. Okay, it was legit. Zach was really onto something. His genius was just not recognized, right? I feel so much better about losing to it. But it really does make sense, everything when you put it together, because you want a more hyper-offensive, the speed of Ninetales is really important, way better than something like a Torkoal next to, let's say, this Fluttermane, right? And when you have the Sun Up, Rapid Strike Urshifu is just not getting the job done, and you still want to hit through Protect. It's so stupid. You got the Torn, you got the Rock Pond to kind of round it out, and then I really like this choice of Farigiraf, because not only do you have, this Throat Spray stuff, but Imprison to stop opposing Trick Rooms is one of the most oppressive ways to handle that.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, I think the double sash can get really, really obnoxious as well. Like the sturdy Orgrimmon paired with the Urshifu, it's just brutal.
Absolutely.
And then I think Tornadus he's just a good Pokemon in this format. I think there's a lot of good grass types. Grass is everywhere, and I think having a Pokemon, obviously Tailwind's great too, and Icy Wind, but being able to also just hit grass Pokemon and fighting Pokemon is really, really valuable. So I think Torn is another great pick here. But yeah, Carson's team I think is pretty unorthodox and something not a lot of players were, I think, preparing for. I think this tournament too It's the last one of Reg F. I think people are very burnt out. I know the ladder was dying before Seattle, so I think for this one too, like a lot of people are just kind of sticking with their tried and true, and I think that gives Carson a huge advantage going into this tournament, and it obviously shows. He's in finals.
Absolutely. And what does Dylan have to kind of deal with this wonky team? And so on Dylan's end, we have Indeedee, Iron Crown, Lando Eye, Ogerpon Wellspring, Torn, and Urshifu Dark. This is a core that honestly has been popping up a lot, and it's something that I've played with too. And I think it's a really smart take on the tried and true Psy Spam. We have like all the additions of the new stuff. We got Calm Mind Iron Crown, which Zach Weed took to like amazing heights at EUIC. But we also have Lando Eye, Wellspring Ogerpon, which we don't see that much, and the Dark Fu that's choice banded. I feel like that adds a whole other dimension to the team that isn't on a lot of these Psy Spam comps.
Yeah, because obviously you do have that Calm Mind kind of double follow me that we see right here, right? Like it's a pretty easy, like, I'm going to lead Ogerpon Iron Crown or Indeedee Iron Crown. I'm going to press Calm Mind, I'm going to press follow me, and then I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to bring in the other one. And then I'm finally going to hit you. And it's too late then, right? Like if he's at +2, he's going to start smacking you around. So I think it's a really cool, like that part is obviously very strong, very, it's been done before. But then throwing in this Dark Urshifu and Landorus, it just gives you the super fast, like oppressive offense tailwind mode, right? And Iron Crown can kind of function in both. It's just kind of a good Pokemon in this format. Steel types are just not very good. Like there's just not many of them. So I think having this Iron Crown is a big deal in the fast mode as well. So I think it's just a really good team that blends both modes perfectly. And obviously Wellspring as well can go offensive if it needs to.
Yeah, I think dropping the fire type that you see usually with the Fire Pawn is actually really smart because you want that dark food, especially the banded dark food that just does so much damage, kind of breaks the damage calc. I think having Wellspring allows your non-Psy Spam mode to be that much stronger. We've seen Dylan kind of just drop Psy Spam and go like Torn Lando or like Torn Urshifu. Any combo, and it's just so much more potent when you have a Wellspring that has water coverage for Incineroar, for basically like, water is just such a good type, right? It just feels a lot more well-rounded than if it was a Fire Ogerpon.
Yeah, and I think, again, we mentioned and hinted at it a little earlier, but, like, Dylan, I didn't necessarily know who Dylan really was, but when we were looking at the accomplishments, this guy's season is absolutely nuts. I think he might be one of the best regional competitors of the entire year. He got top 4 at Pittsburgh to start the year off, and then at Milwaukee, in the same format, he used a different team, got top 4 again, and now he's sitting here in the Houston Regional Finals. So at minimum, his three best regional finishes are top 4 finals. That's insane. Like no one is even close to that this season, right? This guy is like so consistent, and honestly, he shouldn't even be slept on. This is his stage, and he's ready to go, dude. He's ready to try and win his first regional here.
He's been so consistent because he also did day 2 Toronto. He didn't cut, but like 7-5 is nothing to slouch at. That's the consistency that you're looking to build on. And we're just seeing it. This new era, we see players we don't recognize. We go back and we're like, oh, dude, this guy's been so consistent. We should have been keeping an eye on them. So I'm really excited to see how this game goes because Carson's so established. And we got Dylan, who's just kind of been a sleeper this season. But Double Dark Fu Finals, I'm excited to see how it goes because Psy Spam doesn't seem that good here. I'm kind of curious to see what the modes are from each person.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight of how well I think they can control Tailwind as well. That's going to be the big thing in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's a Torn Mirror. One has Covert Cloak, one doesn't, and it's going to be, they have the same moveset, so it's like, how are they going to approach that? Let's find out. So we're going to see Tornadus and Urshifu led from Dylan, and then we're going to see Ninetales and Fluttermane from Carson here, and we're going to see this booster photosynthesis activate, not booster, but photosynthesis. We're going to see that speed boost, which I think is really interesting considering Carson is a Tailwind team, but it gives him even more leverage right in Tailwind. So I think it's pretty neat. And obviously Carson right away, he wants to slam that Terra Fairy.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what Dylan's best option is here, and if he outspeeds this Fluttermane in Tailwind. I think he should. Unless Carson's literally max speed timid, which again he could be. I feel like this Urshifu is kind of forced to Terra Fire here and Wicked Blow the Ninetales maybe. It kind of sucks because you're still going to eat a huge Specs Gleam. but you have no way of killing this Fluttermane, right? Especially since it's Terra Fairing, which is so good offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think that Carson could outspeed a lot of these Pokemon in Tailwind, just because Fluttermane does hit a really, really big number, right? Like, you go to, like, what is it? Is it 307 or something? Something like that?
It should be 310, right?
310?
Oh, no, wait, I'm tripping. I have no idea. I'm not thinking.
Either way, it's over 300, which it's gonna outspeed the Urshifu every single time. I mean, they did press Tailwind, but it will always outspeed Urshifu.
307.
Yeah, so it will outspeed Urshifu no matter what, and we are gonna see this Icy Wind come out. Yeah, so the speeds are gonna drop, which means like in Tailwind, I mean, yeah, she'll should outspeed everything. Yeah, it's still just gonna be a super fast Fluttermane. So Ninetales is gonna get one shot though, so it doesn't actually get to move. And I feel like that was a good turn from Dylan. Like, it kind of just slows down the progress. Obviously, the Fluttermane is still right there, waiting to go. It hasn't taken any damage outside of that little Icy Wind, so it is still a huge, huge threat.
Yeah, that's a really smart play on Dylan's end, just because you know that Tailwind's not going to make you outspeed it, so you Icy Wind so you can outspeed it in Tailwind. Carson, though, abusing the fact that he gets a free switch, can match that Tailwind. So Fluttermane's still going to remain the fastest thing on the field, but Carson is forced to click Tailwind here, and that means Dylan is getting another Wicked Blow off, and I think that means he's getting another KO into that Tornadus.
I mean, what he can do is Carson, we did see, has Urshifu in the back, so he could switch into Urshifu, eat the Wicked Blow, but it is still, like, just a pretty negative momentum turn, right? Like, Carson is in a really rough spot. I think that Dylan's turn one was actually just, like, there's not much Carson could do to punish unless he hard calls it and swaps to his own Urshifu, but at the same time, Dylan...
Power Gems.
Or Power Gems, yes. Or Dylan could also just have ripped Bleakwind Storm turn one. That's not even a bad play at all. So we are going to see the Tailwind here, and we are going to see that swap. So he's just trying to eat this Wicked Blow, trying to do a late game Tailwind.
I feel like this is really, really bad, though, because he got that Icy Wind off, and now Carson has no potential to match the Tailwind. Dylan gets a free switch here as Torn dies, right? And it's probably... It could be anything, maybe other than that Ogerpon Water. You just bring in Landorus Iron Crown if you brought it for some reason. And now I think Dylan's in a really, really strong position.
Yeah, I mean, Sucker Punch is a threat onto Urshifu, but yeah, otherwise you just get to bring in anything, put pressure on the Fluttermane, and you're kind of chilling. The Sun is kind of annoying, so I don't expect to see Ogerpon Water necessarily. But okay, it's actually.
Oh my god.
Indeedee.
Is Indeedee Crown in the back?
How is he getting through? Well, the Urshifu is getting closer and closer to just dying to Tachyon Cutter, so that is nice. But now, honestly, the Urshifu, or the Urshifu for Dylan is in a pretty good spot. He's kind of chilling right now. Like, he gets another hit off, which is kind of annoying. Maybe it's just a
he gets a helping hand Wicked Blow to Flutter and it'll die. I'm like pretty certain.
It dies. Yeah.
Yeah, but then the question is, does Carson kill back? Does he kill the Indeedee with Wicked Blow? Does he kill the Urshifu? I think you definitely go for the Indeedee and hope you get the kill. And if you do, I feel like you're in a pretty decent spot because you can match that Tailwind again, click Wicked Blow, and you should be fine.
This Pokemon is so stupid.
With Choice Band, seriously, the calcs are all out the window. If Indeedee lives this, I feel like Dylan's in a much better spot. Then he can click, what does he press?
I don't think he can live this, dude. It's like assuming it's adamant, right? Like it's just doing so much damage. Rocky Helmet is fine. It's just more chip onto him. I don't know. This is a little bit awkward. I think it could.
Can the Crown live Wicked Blow?
Does the Crown outspeed? It's actually Landorus.
Look at Lando. Oh, what a big reveal. Okay, I think this might be cooked then, right? Because you Wicked Blow the Torn and Earth Power Shifu, and there's no way to win.
Yeah, but don't you just set up Tailwind and most likely... Well, it depends on the Lando's speed, but Landorus does usually outspeed Urshifu. So, as long as Carson isn't jolly, which I just don't think... Like, Urshifu's almost always adamant, then yeah, you just press Earth Power Wicked Blow and you're right, and it's over. But if he does outspeed the Landorus somehow, then he's got a chance here. But I don't think he's gonna...
The other thing is, like... Yeah, the Carson's making the play that can win him the game if he somehow lives this Choice Band Wicked Blow, is that you get the Bleak Wind off, Protect, and then Icy Wind, and you should win the game. The question is, can Tornadus live this Wicked Blow? I'm thinking probably not.
I don't think so, but also Tornadus can get a little nuts, so the Earth Power is going to come off. obviously.
Also depends. Is Dylan Max adamant? I think
I feel
he's
like
probably invested in some bulk.
he got some bulk usually, but I still think this Pokemon is just absolutely absurd. So I think he's just gonna one shot.
Easy money, dude. Okay, what a dominant gameplay from Dylan. Like I was so confused when that Indeedee came in, but it was actually the exactly correct play. I feel like you could have brought in Lando, but it's tricky if the Torn swaps in, right?
Hmm.
And like that board position, you can't take 2 KOs because that Flutter is living Wicked Blow. Whereas if you bring Indeedee in, that Helping Hand Wicked Blow is a pin. That Flutter main slot is screwed. It doesn't matter whether it switches, whatever. So Dylan played that really smart, and that Indeedee, I feel like that makes you think, oh shit, is there a crown in the back? Carson's
Hmm.
like thinking, okay, this is how I win the game. I just gotta kill it. Dylan reveals that Lando, easy money, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think he played that really, really well. He just kept the pressure on, right? Like his turn one was perfect. He did exactly what he needed to do, and Carson just never found leverage against the Terrifier or Shifu. It just kind of swept him. So I think Carson is gonna have to figure out a way to diffuse him a little bit, whether that's just switching into Shifu turn one or trying to um, just kind of outmaneuver it. But like it literally can one shot all of his Pokemon, like basically, right? Like, well, I guess two of them
Yeah.
die to Wicked Blow, and then Fluttermane gets pretty close. So it did
See,
go down to the hunting game.
McCollum, you're talking about what he can do differently in the game. What about the drip war? Because Dylan here has got the team Tri Attack, I believe,
That is
jacket
the
on,
team try attack. Yep.
and the Marowak hat, whereas Carson, he's got no hat and a Play Pokemon shirt. I feel like Dylan's won the drip war here too.
I think unfortunately, like you just always like kind of auto lose, right? When you hit the Pokemon shirt, it's just kind of GG. The slip needs to be signed. So I think unfortunately, Dylan is the Drip War champion here.
And we've all been there. We've all had the Play Pokemon shirt on, but it's something you definitely have to think about moving forward.
You
Because
do.
I think winning the drip war, it helped you win the game, dude. You feel locked in. Carson's down a game. He needs to adjust something.
Dude, Carson's got a
Maybe
notebook.
changing his shirt would help.
Oh, we see Indeedee Iron Crown. So we're seeing an adjustment from Dylan, but we aren't seeing one from Carson. I think it's just probably his anti-side spam lead. So he's just like, hey, I'm not trying to play around here. I know you could potentially do it, so I am going to lead these two once again. Just cover for everything.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how to feel about this because I feel like Dylan had a pretty solid mode going where he didn't really even have to think that much. He kind of just had to make a consistent play and it worked out, right? I do understand, like, hey, dude, if Carson just power gemmed me, I was kind of fucked. So maybe I don't want to lean into that again. But I feel like that's the whole, like, idea behind Carson's team. It's all about, like, hyper offense 50-50s. Like,
Yeah.
you're not feeling that good here either.
No, yeah, it's really awkward. I also think like Carson's in a great spot. Like he did kind of go for a crazy play. I believe he went for overheat into the Indeedee, but normally, you know, he could just press Heat Wave. Terra Fairy Gleam probably gets pretty close to one-shotting Crown as well, and Expanding Force can't kill Flutter, so he can only take 1 KO. So I think this is just a really solid turn from Carson. Doesn't even commit to Terra, doesn't really need to, and he's just gonna go for that guaranteed KO into Indeedee, which he takes, and Dylan
Yeah.
protected. So this is so lit for Carson.
No, that was a phenomenal turn for Carson. And like you said, like, he did have Gleam Heat Wave, but that would require, I think, pulling the trigger on the Terra, because I think Indeed just, like, barely lives that otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think Carson maybe was saying, like, I don't really want to risk my Terra here in case I want, like, that extra oomph later for Shifu or for something else. Like, maybe a defensive Terra with Torn. But now Dylan gets to bring in his Tailwind and basically click Expanding Force for free. You could even Icy Wind Expanding Force, actually, just because this Flutter main is locked into Gleam. You don't have to Terra, and Ninetales is going to die to Expanding 1000%.
The issue, oh yeah, no, Icy Wind Gleam is, or Icy Wind Expanding is so free. You're right, you're totally right. That is just very safe. I was gonna say Ninetales outspeeds Torn, but it does not. It's a base 100 Pokemon. It's not a Alolan
Yeah, it's
Ninetales.
2 speed slower, I believe.
No, that's a Alolan Ninetales. Oh, he goes for Tailwind though. Okay.
Is Alolan Ninetales a different speed than Ninetales?
Yeah, Ninetales is base 100. It's much slower.
Oh, I had no idea. 167 is so slow. Okay.
Also, Flutter outsped in Tailwind, by the way. The crown is slow.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like all the crowns are pretty slow. I'm not sure how I feel about Tailwind versus Icy Wind there. I don't think it super matters, I guess.
I think he didn't want to miss. I think that's probably what it was. It's like he's like, hey, I'm just going to take my KO, and the Tailwind turns are going to get a little funky here. I think it is really big that he did Tailwind, because if you match Tailwind here, it's a completely different game, right? And the slow on Flutter could be important. But yeah, the staggered Tailwinds is never good, especially when Urshifu is involved. It could get a little dicey late game, you know? Like with that extra turn of Tailwind, that could be huge. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. I think if you're Dylan here, you probably protect expanding or protect Tachyon on that Flutter main, just to guarantee it's gone. And if Urshifu switches in, it's great. I think the main thing is, though, you just want to get rid of that Flutter main so you have Isu Wind potential that next turn, or even a Bleak Wind potential. And we haven't seen a Terra on either end, really, so everything's up for grabs. Like, if you want to Terra that Torn so it avoids a Sucker Punch, just because of Psychic Terrain, I feel like you have that option. You just got to get rid of this Flutter main. We do see the Tachyon into the Torn.
That's crazy. That's crazy work. Okay. He's stalling. I think he just wanted... I mean, he must know that Flutter's staying in, right? This is the board he wants.
Yeah, I'm not loving that, though. And now we see Carson. He does have that Terra Steel. I feel like you could just slam that. I feel like it's so free.
Yeah, 100%. And now Dylan's going to lose his Torn, which means Carson's going to be able to take control of the speed for the rest of the game, too, right? Like, because Torn doesn't switch out, so now he has Tailwind, he has Icy Wind, and this Urshifu with the Sash in the back might be able to just clean up, right? He's looking real tasty.
Oh, does Dylan also have Terra Steel and Torn? I feel like maybe you could have pressed that here in case you live the Gleam somehow.
You could.
But now it's down, and I just feel like Dylan has no way to win. Like, even if it's that Landers, the Sash is unbroken.
Yeah.
And he goes after Torn again. Oh, man. He had to expanding, or at least Tachyon on that Flutter there.
I don't know, because that wasn't going to kill even if he didn't Terra, right? So it's like, I don't know if it's worth. Landers is going to come in. I think all you need here is the smallest bit of damage on Landorus, and then it's going to be in Wicked Blow range, right? So I think you just get to Gleam, and I think you could protect, but I think you could also just go for Bleak Wind Storm or Icy Wind, right?
I think it just doesn't matter at all. I think you probably protect for just to have two Pokemon, but even if you... I think you might want to protect in case, like, Lando goes for protect, and then you get that expanding force off, and, like, you crit the Torn or something, so it's probably safest to just slam protect on Carson's end. But...
Terra Steel, oh, baby. We revealed it, which means now Urshifu just gets to press CC whenever it wants.
Yeah, the game's over.
I mean, it's just the nature of these Tailwind teams, right? Like, it's like, can you leverage your Tailwind better than your opponent? And obviously, Dylan kind of went with the Science Spam mode, which I didn't love because I thought the Bandit Urshifu was going nuts. But maybe he's right, and he's like, I don't want to play the 50-50 mind game turn 1 again. You know what I mean? Like, it is scary to have to sit there and face down the Flutter who could one-shot you.
Yeah, and I feel like Dylan actually had a decent game plan if he just didn't Tachyon into that Torn for no reason and maybe protected his Torn or Terra Steeled it if he has it. I'm forgetting right now. But this is always losing. I also do think Carson flubbed a little. Like, I think he was supposed to click Icy Wind there just because, like, it's so guaranteed, especially if you force the Terra Steel, right? You just Wicked Blow here and then CC, right?
Yep.
There's no way to lose. And even if he only had one turn of Tailwind, Icy Wind, again, would ensure that you're faster than Lando. So, regardless, Carson wins here just because he has those two turns. Terra Steel was used, Wicked Blow, and CC, and that is looking pretty bad for Dylan. I feel like...
Oh,
sorry, go on.
I said the crazy part, too, is this game was so close. Like, it literally, Carson has one turn of Tailwind. If he didn't have that, he loses, right? Like, it literally came down to him having one extra turn of Tailwind to win this game on a 1 HP Urshifu.
Yeah, and again, that's why I think the Icy Wind was a little bit cleaner. But regardless, I feel like Dylan was so close, like you're saying. Like, there's just a couple turns there that didn't make sense, and I think Carson got really lucky. He made absolutely the right play, but I feel like he got rid of that Flutter main. Maybe his Torn's in a better position. Torn Lando's a little bit better in the end game. I think Dylan could go for the same thing, but a part of me is just like, dude, that game 1 plan just looked so good. As long as you don't get kind of destroyed by that power gem.
But also at the same time, I think that Dylan might just hit the reverse and just say, hey, I messed up 2 turns in this game. I'm gonna run this strat back and just play better. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think he could win with just Indeedee Crown, Lando, Torn. I think that's totally viable because, like you said, he kind of threw a little bit. He kind of made like 2 little errors, and I feel like I wouldn't even say it's a throw. It's just more of like, I think Tailwind Mirrors. Like, I've played them, you've played them, we've all kind of played them. They get really, really like mechanical, right? Like, you have to make sure that you're playing the right amount of turns. You're tailwinding at the right time. You bait out turns to try and get an edge, and that's kind of what Carson did. And so I feel like Dylan can do the same thing and try to come back here, because I do think the Sash Torn is better than the Covert Cloak Torn, and I think it can cause some problems for Carson. I think it's hard for him to KO.
Yeah, I think the other thing is like Dylan's turn 1 play is really strong in Protect Trick Room because either you're expending multiple resources to get rid of my Trick Room setter, or I get up Trick Room and I should just win, honestly, with
On the spot.
And the main thing he wants is that Psychic Terrain, so Expanding Force goes dummy, right? Because if it goes down, Torn comes in, you click Icy Wind Expanding. I think you don't give a fuck about missing. I think you're like, I'm in regional finals, I'm not gonna miss. Why would my Pokemon do that? I think you just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tailwind's fine. It's similar enough, but we saw how the staggering was really big for Carson. But I don't think that's a bad position. So I really do think, like you said, you can run it back and just not mess up in the mid game.
Mm-hmm. I think he almost should, because I think it can get a little dicey if Carson decides to lead the same thing, which he does. Now I think the question is, will Dylan commit to Terra Water here and try to attack? And then will Carson try to predict that in some way and try to go for... I don't think Gleam Heatwave should come close to picking up Crown, especially because he's pretty slow. I mean, Crown, they usually got some bulk. He's Calm Mind as well. So I'm kind of expecting it not to pick up if he Terra Waters, but it still is a lot of damage you're taking, right, from Gleam and Heatwave.
Although I think it's probably Bleak Wind range, especially if Carson Terra Fairies, but he's actually hovering over that Moonblast.
He's crazy.
This is not just because I see what Carson's doing. I said it earlier. I think he should just Protect Trick Room again, though. Just because, like, when you do all the calculations, Dr. Strange-Style or whatever his name is, you still end up in a pretty good spot.
I think you're right. Like, I kind of thought Dylan's play was throw, but like when you explained it, I was like, yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense. And I think that it isn't a bad play to commit to. All right, here we go. I think he's got to hit the follow me.
The water, bro. It's the water. Is he gonna follow me though? Is he gonna follow me expanding? But you gotta anticipate the Gleam Heat Wave, right?
Right. Yeah, that's why I think follow me is kind of troll. I think Carson's play is really good for this high level game we're about to see, and he's just hitting it. What a play from Carson.
Does this kill?
It's gonna be so
that's
close.
Heat Wave range though for sure. No way.
Oh
Bruh.
my god.
Dude, that's what you get punished for running Ninetales, dude. You get the burnout in TD, but it doesn't matter. You needed to hit the crown. We're gonna see an Expanding Force Trick Room here. Calm Mind?
What?
I'm sorry, this is a terrible play. What?
It's Calm Mind Trick Room? Yeah.
You're never supposed to Calm Mind though, right? Like, in what situation other than exactly this one does that work out?
I guess
even then, like, Expanding would have been better.
I think he was saying, like, I'm going to live with Indeed. I think he committed to his play and saying, hey, I'm going to live this hit. I'm going to set up Trick Room, and I'm going to sweep. Oh my god, what an insane miss. Ninetales failing Carson when you needed it the most.
Does he even have a way to come back? I feel like you always Expanding and just, like, swap to your Lando, right?
You might have to rip the Helping Hand. Just because it will kill.
For what? You're +1, dude.
Does that kill Flutter? I guess, bro.
Absolutely, it actually nukes it. If you have Shifu Dark, actually, you're supposed to switch into that immediately, but I'm thinking it's Torn Lando again.
I think he's not trusting the count.
In.
He goes for follow me? Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, I want to follow me the Moonblast. I think you always Expanding and swap to Lando or Shifu, because that way you can Tachyon and Earth Power, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now this is kind of tricky.
He would have won the game
instantly.
instantly.
Expanding.
I think he just has to follow me Expanding right here, because you can't risk the hit. This actually could get... I guess it's probably not dicey. I think Carson is still just kind of fucked. The Trick Room is really, really good versus Carson's team, I'm not gonna lie. Setting that up is crazy.
Yeah, because now I mean, Tachyon Cutter would be devastating, but then you get double Heat Wave, and so like, Carson can still win.
Yeah.
I think the Rocky Helmet's annoying, but here... Oh, and Flutter's already used Terrace. Torn can't Terrace Steel. Yeah, I think Follow Me Expanding is actually really devastating for Carson.
I think he just Follow Me's expanding. And then you just break the Sash, you threaten the Tachyon, and then you threaten that Earth Power, like you said, or a Sludge Bomb into Flutter, right? Like, you can just bring in Lando, and you threaten a one-shot on the Flutter.
Yeah, I mean, Flutter is a throw because it can't even protect, so you're always guaranteed a kill. I think Urshifu, it kills Indeedee here. Lando should come in. I still think Dylan messed up by not switching it in the previous turn, but I guess he was afraid of the damage calcs. We can look at it. I'm like 90,000% certain expanding just nukes that Flutter at +1.
I think you're right. I mean, he went for Follow Me expanding. I guess, yeah, he was a little bit afraid. I think he should have went for Helping Hand if he was going to go. I mean,
why would you go Follow Me? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So he has to go into Torn here. You have to force like at least like a 50-50 on what the Crown's going to do. Because if you protect the right one, like maybe you get a shot. Maybe you have a chance, right? Like if you protect your Shifu and he goes for Tachyon Cutter, maybe you got a shot. But maybe you're supposed to just attack and then protect with Torn so you don't get one shot by expanding. It's a little tricky here. But even then, it doesn't matter.
You always just expanding and Earth Power this Urshifu, like even if you get a Wicked Blow off or something,
he's double
the next turn you have Sludge Bomb Bleak win, and if you hit, you win. You know?
Yeah, double protect definitely just seems like a throw. I think you need to like mix him up, try to do something, but I guess maybe there is no hope because the Sludge Bomb will just kill Flutter.
I mean, you could go for the double protect or something, or like a double protect and like Tailwind, because there's only one turn of Trick Room left. It's not looking that good. Everything is close to Gleam range. You just gotta, maybe you Sucker Punch this Lando.
And you just try to get the sweep. Ooh, Sucker Punch, and dude, what if you just
or Tailwind even.
Tailwind. I think you could Sucker Punch Tailwind.
Yeah, I think that's actually really bad.
I think it actually might win. Because Flutter is still fast. Even after Icy Wind, it outspeeds everything. So I think it should 2-hit KO everything, and it should one-shot the Landers from that range.
I think the Sun's about to end, but...
that's actually... You're right. The Sun ending is actually
You have to set up Tailwind, but I think you Sucker Punch. Or Carson's really thinking, dude, if I get the double protect, I definitely win. I think you go for Sucker, though. I feel like it's more guaranteed.
Yeah.
So double protect fails. Tailwind, yeah, I think it's screwed. Now Dylan just wins.
I mean, granted, right? If he gets that double, I think he also wins. Because then you could just Wicked Blow and probably just Moonblast. I think that should be fine.
Or just Gleam. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but the chance of a double protect's only 33. Sucker Punch is 100% accurate, Colin.
I agree he should have Sucker Punched, but he does set up the Tailwind, so we are going to see this endgame. But I think the Sash Torn is going to be... I mean, not that you one-shot Torn usually anyways, but he's going to come up clutch here. If Torn's the last one, I don't think it matters, though. I think they should all lose. Like, Carson should always lose, right? Like, if it's Ogerpon, if it's Ogerpon Torn, or... What's the last Pokemon it could be? Darkfu? Okay, if it's Darkfu, he might win. Oh, no, because he would get Earth-powered into Sucker Punch. So, yeah. I think he wants it to be Torn.
Yeah, I think you just protect Tachyon, Sack, then Icy Wind, Sludge Bomb, or whatever, and then double protect Tailwind, Sludge Bomb. That's probably the most intuitive line. You just win that way. Yeah. I don't think Carson can do anything other than maybe crit Gleam onto Lando. She seems swap out. I think this is the same, though, as long as he protects Crown. You just protect, bring in Torn, protect again. The Torn and Sack thing, and then you Tailwind Sludge Bomb. You eat one Gleam, you just have to not get crit, and then you should win. Yeah.
I think this works. I think there's like multiple paths to success here. He just needs to stall the Tailwind now, right? And so now it's protect, sack the Crown.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other play was just the same thing, but it's fine.
A little easier.
I think it actually allows you to have Torn a little bit healthier, but it doesn't matter. Because as long as Dylan does not get crit on his Lando with Gleam, he just wins. Because he's going to get 2 Sludge Bombs off.
I think he just needs 1 Sludge Bomb, though, right? So
It's
doesn't he
not
just?
Terran. I don't know. Flutter could live that. There's I don't know this spread. It can live on like 5 HP, something
Dude, I
like
think
that.
he's like, I think he's close. Wait, let's see his HP number on this flutter. I think Carson is close to probably like max. It probably has like a sucker punch calc on it, but it's probably like the least. Yeah, it's 145. It's probably like
I don't
100,
know.
116. All right, so we're gonna see this tailwind.
If he only needs one, then you're supposed to protect Lando there, but so you don't take this Gleam. But I think this is the correct play, obviously, because you don't want to take a single target Gleam. That did
Oh,
so much. Oh my god.
the
Okay, yeah.
sucker punch won the game.
The Sucker
Oh,
Punch totally won the game. I told you, dude.
he's hoping he lives, but he
And it one
doesn't.
shot.
It's super effective, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
god. What an
What a
insane
game,
set,
dude.
dude. That set was crazy, dude. Team Tri Attack on top, baby. Holy.
Huge shout out to Dylan Matthews. What a season from
Mm-hmm.
this guy, dude. Top four, day two, first. This guy is insane. I'm actually so happy to be, put on to another amazing player who's just like,
Mm-hmm.
just been so consistent. And again, a really cool team. I was really trying to make something similar work. And Dylan just showing us how you do it, dude. Absolutely insane final set versus Carson Confer, who also had an incredible run with an insane team.
Yeah, and I think like too, it just kind of came down to those mechanics of Tailwind. I think he played the Trick Room in Game 3 pretty well. He stalled it, like Carson stalled it as much as he could, but he got enough turns from it that he needed. And Carson made an insane return one too. It's unfortunate they got punished because that was a nasty read. That was some
Yeah.
solid stuff too. Carson was playing incredible. Dylan was obviously playing incredible as well. Just a really good finals. Honestly, I was a little bit, like I was like, dude, we didn't review the last Reg F finals because we were coming back from Seattle. And so I was like, dude, are we going to review this one? Like, it's Reg F, who cares? But low-key, banger set. We got a good one.
Banger set, dude.
Banger
I'm
one.
so glad we covered it. And I'm so glad all of you are watching. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, dude.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.